This video is going to be kind of long. It's probably actually going to be just the start of a series of videos because there's a lot of ground to cover and I don't think I can do it in just one video. There is so much going on right now. This is a video for anybody who views themselves as a patriotic American, whether you be Democrat, Republican, Independent. If you love the United States, if you love your country, if you love what it stands for, I'm asking you, please, even if it sounds like I'm saying things you hate, listen to this to the very end because it is important. I am going to say what no one else wants to say in the media or anywhere else. Donald Trump is not a fascist. Donald Trump is a traitor. Donald Trump is a traitor to the United States of America, and he should be prosecuted as such. And before you turn and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, yes, I do. Let me explain, because I can prove it. Every action Donald Trump has taken thus far, regardless of how he tries to couch it to the media, has done one of two things. It has either weakened the United States internally or externally, or it has strengthened the position of Russia, because Donald Trump is owned 100% by Vladimir Putin. Now, I don't know if that means that he's being blackmailed or if he's just made a deal, because after all, he's a businessman, and sold his soul in his country. Maybe they're building a palace for him in Russia right now that he gets to retire to after he's destroyed the United States from the inside. We shall see. But what do I mean when I say I can prove it? Let's take a look at some of the things Trump's done so far. Number one, he immediately has angered some of our closest allies. He angered Mexico. He angered Canada. Canada has been an ally of us since before the First World War. We have fought side by side in Normandy. Like, we have gotten along very well for a very long time. And in just a couple of weeks, he has soured that relationship. But he's going on also to anger Europe and anger the UK. Again, our strongest allies are Europe and the UK. Why are we picking a fight with the European Union? But we are. We recently had a speech made by our own Secretary of Defense that insulted Germany. Again, one of our strongest allies. This doesn't benefit us at all, to be calling our allies weak, which they're not, and to be antagonizing them and picking a fight. But it does really benefit Russia for NATO to be disjointed. And let's not forget, NATO is the North American Trade Organization. It is meant to be a check on Russian aggression into Europe. So how convenient that Trump now is causing so much chaos within NATO, so much so that they're wondering whether we are going to back them if there's an actual shooting war, which would really seem like something Putin would like. Right now, they're negotiating between Russia and the United States about how to end the Ukrainian war. There's no Ukrainians there. They're just saying, we're going to figure this out. And we've already come out and said, or the president has already come out and said that, oh yeah, the borders can't go back to where they were and they can't join NATO. That's not for him to decide. That is not up for the president of the United States to make these decisions. It's not his country. But these are the talking points of Russia. Now let's look at some other things that has happened. We have the tariff that's been slapped on China, which angers China a little bit. Yeah, they're going to start tariffing us some more as well. Picking a fight with South Africa. So the extent that the South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa, has said American companies are no longer welcome in South Africa. Now that might seem odd to you. It doesn't seem so odd to me when you consider that both China and South Africa are part of the BRICS alliance. That is an economic alliance, and the countries involved, the initial countries involved, were Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So in addition to angering our own allies, he's also doing things to annoy the allies of Russia, the economic allies of Russia, and therefore push them further and further into Russia's camp. Now, if you're sitting at home and saying, well, what does it have to do with me if Russia has more political influence over the world? It has to do a lot. Maybe not right away, but it will. Let's take a look at some of the things that are happening. Russia wants Ukraine. Why does Russia want Ukraine? Some people can say oil. Sure, it's got that. But Ukraine is also the breadbasket of Europe. Millions of tons of grain come out of Ukraine. They're a massive agriculture area. Why is that so important? Because there's oftentimes famine and hunger and problems in Africa. And Ukrainian wheat under Russian control is a lot of influence in Africa. Africa has some of the greatest amounts of natural resources on this planet. Whoever controls Africa actually can control the world. And Putin wants us weak. And Putin wants us to be causing trouble and does not want us to be able to effectively counter him. If he controls Ukraine, he controls Africa. If he controls Africa, he controls the world. And at that point, he dictates to us what the dollar is worth. And Donald Trump is handing it to him. Now, I'm sure when I'm done with this video, I'm going to start getting all sorts of different questions, asking me things, and I'm going to respond to them because it's important you understand this. That Donald Trump is a traitor. He is selling us out. He is selling me out. He is selling you out, regardless of who you are. He doesn't care. He has made his fortune by being a businessman willing to screw whoever his business partners are if he thought it was the best advantage. And right now, his business partner is the American people. Don't get me wrong. He's going to screw you too. He has a reputation for having people do work for him and then saying, I'm not going to pay you. And if you don't like that, we'll take it to court because I will drag this out and slow it down and make it so that you'll go bankrupt just trying to sue me. That is how he has done most of his construction work. You're his business partner now, America. He's going to screw you. So I hope you will all listen to me when I say we have to move against him. Whether you want to see him replaced with another Republican or an independent or a Democrat is irrelevant. But the important part is he is a puppet of Vladimir Putin. What he is doing is against the Constitution. He is a traitor. And because he is a traitor, he must be removed from office. So this is also to our congressmen. You have a job not just to making sure that you're not going to get primaried in the next election. You have a job to the American people. Do your fucking job. Move against this asshole and get him out of the office.